Evil is everywhere, that's a very sad fact. But we have people who want to change that evil, stop the evil and protect people despite their flaws. Especially if they have the power to blast through anything at top speed. Shinra Kusakabe, a third and fourth fire generation pyrokinetic and a loyal member of Company 8 from Fire Force. And Bakugo Katsuki, the angry rival of Izuku Midoriya and UA Hero. From My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia, a world where the unnatural is pretty natural, in a world where 100 years ago, a baby was born, a baby with a power. Later on more than 80% of people were born with that same power, all different and all unique. This power was called a quirk. And one of these people is named Katsuki Bakugo. Not much can be said about him besides that he has a normal family and a normal life, all with the exception that he has a pretty strong quirk called explosions, where he turns his sweat into nitroglycerin which causes huge explosions, and he has a massive ego. He was a total asshole and bully, specifically to Izuku Midoriya, all because he was quirkless and both admired the number one hero, All Might. Despite that, Izuku and All Might saved him from a villain attack, completely flipping his perspective a tiny bit once the UA exam came in. UA is the top school where people with quirks train to be heroes. Both Bakugo and Midoriya, who had gained a quirk from All Might, passed the exam and slowly became rivals as fellow Class 1A students. Not much happens besides Bakugo getting more training and fighting tons, and I mean tons of villains. Lucky for him, he's one of the strongest in class. With his explosion quirk he's able to move at high speeds and practically fly. His explosions can also help him maneuver much quicker and dodge attacks just by shooting an explosion the opposite direction and fly out of the way. We can compare his speed to his fellow classmate Denki, who has an electric quirk. Meaning Bakugo can at least scale to lightning speeds or 270,000 miles per hour. Of course his explosions are deadly powerful to make him go that fast. He can go toe-to-toe with Izuku, who has the same quirk as All Might but a little weaker. He can even survive a fight with the suppressed All Might, and make explosions the size of buildings. His best strength feat is when he used so much power that even his suit was ripping off, and that's unusual for him. He made this ginormous explosion, taking the damage right after. The explosion must yield at least 66 kilotons of TNT when he's going all out. Downside to his amazing strength is his overwhelming weakness of being too arrogant and angry. I mean, his hero name was going to be King Explosion Murder. Good thing he's still smart, being able to use his powers in surprisingly unique ways. He can compact his explosion into his palm and through his fingers to cause a concentrated blast that can do more piercing damage, called his AP shot. A step up to this is his AP shot autocannon, where he uses the same move but shoots multiple balls instead. He even has a similar but stronger move called AP shot machine gun. Finally, there's his gauntlets that allow him to store up sweat. Once he pulls the pin, then it'll cause a massive explosion since he stored up so much sweat. With all of this explosive power, it's no wonder why he's one of the strongest students in Class 1A. He truly has grown from an asshole to a slightly less asshole. He even changed his name to Dynamite.
You try anything funny and I'll blow your ass up so bad that they'll be piecing you back together for weeks.
Death. It's scary, isn't it? Everyone dies eventually, and sadly they die even faster than normal. Either it be murder, drowning, old age, or diseases, but everyone can agree that death by fire is some of the worst pain you'll feel before death. In the world of Fire Force, fire and death is everywhere. People can suddenly combust into fire creatures called infernals. These creatures used to be human beings, but then they unlocked their first generation pyrokinetic abilities, where they became and produce fire. Still they die completely, not to mention they have no control over it. Fear not though. For there is firefighters or companies who produce people to help these poor souls, including the newer pyrokinetic generations where they can control their fire. These generations are the second generation, people who can manipulate existing fire, third generation, people who can make their own fire, and the last, more rare, and most important generation that no company usually has, the fourth generation, aka, the pillar. This includes 17-year-old Shinra Kusakabe. Shinra was an average kid in his life. Yes, he had to worry about infernals, but they didn't stop him from having a wide smile for his mother and little brother Sho. Sadly, the infernals struck, a more powerful version of one called a demon. Only the most powerful could truly take these guys down, attacked and burned Shinra's house down, killing everyone but him. Somehow this awakened his third generation power of Devil's Footprint. Sadly, this also means everyone thinks he killed his family, leaving him with a weird nervous breakdown of smiling widely whenever he's nervous, making them think he did it even more, breaking his once true smile. Still, despite always being called a demon, he wanted to be a hero ever since he was a child, more so now as to find whoever attacked his family. So after training for a few years to master his flame, he finally joined the firefighters and joined Company 8. Yes, it doesn't look like much, but it's still special. Everything was going pretty well. He saved both people and infernals and was slowly making a family with Company 8, that is until the White Knights showed up. With them came new knowledge, a lot of knowledge. First things first, Shinra was actually a fourth generation. A pillar is a pyrokinetic who possesses an Adala burst, a gift from God as some say. The other thing was that the demon that killed Shinra's family was actually his own mother, and that Sho was actually alive. With this new knowledge and a new goal, Shinra needed some firepower, and luckily, he has it. Shinra's power is to produce fire blasts from his feet almost like a rocket. This means he's incredibly fast. He's fast enough to catch up with the fire truck, create sonic booms with ease. He can fly at top speeds, and even dodged this laser which was able to move from Earth to the Moon in 13 seconds. That makes Shinra able to dodge beams that move at around 66 million miles per hour. Despite speed being his home turf, Shinra is amazingly strong as well. He's strong enough to kick through the most powerful of normal infernals, kick a car several feet into the air, and his world actually uses the basic rules of science. Which means his speed of 66 million miles per hour, equals to 66.8 megatons of TNT. Despite all this power, he was still being overwhelmed by other pillars like his brother, who was kidnapped and brainwashed by the White Knights, who were also incredibly powerful. He needed more. This led a man named Benimaru to train Shinra and show him how to use different hand signs. The main one he learned was the hand sign of the Tigar, a hand sign that unlocks more power for the legs, causing Shinra's speed to increase dramatically. The other hand is the Korna or devil hand sign. With this he creates a giant demon face and makes a massive explosion, causing his already incredible strength to skyrocket. That's not all though. After intense training and almost dying from it, he unlocked the human Bodhi's full potential, the Press of Death. With this, Shinra unlocks 70% of the human's full potential, meaning his other feats multiple, so instead of 66 million it's instead 220 million miles per hour, and instead of 6.8 megatons of TNT it's 75 megatons of TNT. With this power it was only a matter of time before Shinra finally reunited with his lost brother and even met his mother again. Despite needing to still beat the White Knights, he was still able to accomplish his goal as a hero.
My nerves. The press of death is making me smile.
All of the abilities and feats have been explained. Let's take these fighters and see who would win in a mortal matchup.
Fight! KO.
Despite both having incredible firepower and the will of a true hero, Shinra just had Bakugo beat in every category. Shinra has had way more experience. Yes, Bakugo unlocked his quirk at a young age, but so did Shinra with his pyrokinetic abilities. Bakugo didn't start training until after he made it to UA, and it's only been maybe a year since he got in, plus UA is still a school, so he doesn't train all the time, even after he got his hero license. Shinra trained after he got his powers. That's got to be at least a few years till he left for normal school and then Company 8, and he was frequently trained by skilled fights like Benimaru, plus got tons of firefighting experience on the regular, as it's his job after all. Bakugo may have been able to go at lightning speed or 270,000 miles per hour, but Shinra is able to go 66 million miles per hour, over 200 times faster than Bakugo's best speed feat if we give Bakugo the benefit of the doubt. Strength also goes to Shinra. Bakugo's best feat came to 66 kilotons of TNT, while Shinra just going fast means he can reach 6.8 megatons of TNT, over 100 times stronger than Bakugo, and that's without counting his hand signs or even the press of death. In the end, Shinra was just stronger, faster, had way more experience, and had the literal firepower to put Bakugo down. The winner is Shinra Kusakabe.
Such as this. I always come back.
Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
Let me out.